Alrighty, good day. I literally just sent you a link. Hello.
Hi. Good morning. Good morning.
Okay, so are you still in Saskatchewan?
I am, but I'm in Oxbow, so I'm really close to the US border.
I don't even know where Oxbow is.
Yeah, very south.
Really? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I got to feed the horse this morning.
Excellent. How long are you there for?
A week, and then I've got a week off, and I'm back for a week again.
And what are you going to do during your week off?
I haven't decided yet.
Excellent. I like that everything's up in the air.
I know.
Okay, so today we are talking about your session.
Yes.
So I'd love to know what's been going on with you since the week we've done our session.
So I've been listening to the recording,
Mhm.
and I've been finding it really hard to actually stay in hypnosis.
Mhm.
So when we had the session, it was really easy. Like my head was really heavy, and I was like totally in it. But
Mhm.
as I'm listening to the recording, I'm scratching my nose, and all of these things are kind of happening around me, and I'm finding it really hard to focus and stay in it.
So I hear that a lot, and I guess I should tell people this, that
Okay.
in these audios, you're not actually going to be in the same style of hypnosis you were with me. It's not
Okay.
going to be at all like that. So the idea is your brain literally needs just to hear the words. So it
Okay.
doesn't matter if you're scratching, like you could be doing dishes. It doesn't matter as long as you're
Okay.
hearing it.
Okay.
Okay. Because even if you fall asleep, which is what you hear at the end of the audio, where I say, even if you fall asleep, you go into deep dreams, right? So even if you fall asleep during the audio, your brain is still hearing every single word I say. And what
Okay.
matters is that it hears it every day for 21 days
Right.
so that it repeats the habit, right?
Right.
So some people will go right back into hypnosis, but because I'm not there, it's not it's not the same. I don't have that same energy connection with you, which was
Okay.
holding you in the hypnosis to begin with. So the
Okay.
audio can't do what I can do, right?
Got it. Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm finding that my conscious mind is like, I don't remember those words. And like, even though I've listened to it like 20 times. Right. So it's almost like I'm like hit and miss, like catching certain words certain times.
Let me ask you, do you find that certain words are hurting your ears a little bit or bothering you?
No, no,
Okay.
nothing like that.
Okay. Because often when we hear something and we're like, example, I had a client who came in and she didn't like her audio and she wanted me to change 27 points in her audio, right? So this woman is suffering from narcissism and control issues, right? Clearly. So but she didn't like the words I used. And so I said, okay, I'll change them, but they're there for a reason. These words that I use are there for a reason. This is what your conscious mind or subconscious mind told me you need.
Mm,
Anyway, she came back to me, I guess, 5 weeks later. 5 weeks later, after she'd listened to her audio, she'd gone to a thing, she'd done all her stuff. Maybe it was even 2 months later. And she had said to me, you know, thank you for the original audio, because I did change the words, but she reverted back because she said, I realized after that I wasn't ready to hear those words yet.
yeah.
And they were words like, you are perfect. This is
Mm,
everything's perfect, just the way it is. Stop trying to control it, like leave it. And she wanted to not hear it. So oftentimes when we don't want to hear these words, it's because we're still trying to control that situation and you're trying to push it out of your environment. So I think you just froze.
there you are.
Oh, there you go. Hi.
Mm,
Yeah. So this lady realized after that, yeah, okay, they're there for a reason. So that's why I ask people, if it's hurting your ears, we need to work on that with you because that's the section of you that's fighting it the most,
mm.
right? So is there sections within the audio that you really like that are really resonating with you?
Yeah, so you tell me that I'm funny, and every time I kind of giggle when you say that I'm funny. So there's definitely certain areas that I like, I would say I like better.
Yeah. Did you need to feel like you're funny? Do you not feel that way?
No, no, I think I'm hit and miss funny. Like I think I'm really good sometimes with like one-liners and those kinds of things.
I
It's just
remember.
having the opportunity to share them.
Yeah. I remember in the session actually when I said that to you, you giggled then too. Yeah, that's cute.
Yeah.
So tell me maybe what's been going on with you this week so we can remind ourselves of what the audio said, what we wanted to happen for you. And I'm sure you can remember some of the things, you may not remember all of the things. But let's talk about your week and what's been kind of going on for you. Has anything been trying to leave your world or stay in your world or anything of that nature? Or have you been having a struggle more in one section? Or has everything kind of just been going better and better as you move up?
Mm, it's been maybe a lot of the same, though. So I just got here to this location yesterday, and the same night she met me, she's like, "Oh, we have another week. Can you stay the second week too?" Because I was planning on renting a place because I didn't have a place to go for the whole month that I'm kind of in limbo. So I guess things are starting to fall into place to actually fill my schedule.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. So I think we're going to notice more when you get started working because a lot of it
Yes.
has to do with work, right? And
Yeah.
I'm noticing more even just in our calls, in the way you're responding, in your answers. I'm seeing more confidence the word choices you're using are different. They're coming out as that of an authority figure rather than that of
Mm.
somebody learning.
Cool.
So even if you watch our videos, which you will because I will be sending them over to you in the thing, we're waiting for one more file to load and then we're good. But once you watch them, you'll see your growth actually in just 1 week, how much you've grown. You've gone from clearly a student to someone who is probably the professional there to train everybody, right? That's what
Cool.
it looks like in these videos. It looks fantastic.
That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. I can see the growth already in that way. So I know that once we get you with the clients,
Right.
it's going to really expand and you're going to notice, especially when you're in the moment, right? When you get those moments of deers in the headlights, you'll know exactly what to do. It's just going to
Cool.
come to you like that, right?
Perfect.
I think that's where we need to get you. So you've been listening to the audio every single day.
Yeah.
Okay. So is there anything that right now you feel perhaps that you'd like to work on that that's not being addressed or that's not moving fast enough or?
I definitely want to work on the thyroid eventually.
Yeah, that we're going to do in 3 weeks time.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I really know I can help you with that because that's about releasing. Remember we talked about like, not being able to voice, right?
Yeah.
So it may not cure it, but it's going to release and relieve, right? Like with my MS, it hasn't cured it yet, or the Crohn's, it hasn't cured it yet, but every day I get better. Every day I'm not, it's been 3 years since I was in the hospital and that's unusual for me. Very unusual for me, right?
Cool.
So I'm getting better all the time. I don't have seizures anymore. I don't have a lot of things anymore. It's all kind of going away. I can actually eat better than I've ever eaten and stuff like that. So, things change, things grow. So with the thyroid, I'm really excited to see the changes. It'll probably be 6 months before we really, really notice, like you notice. Once you go for tests, you do all these things, they'll start to see the numbers. I remember I worked with a woman in the hospital. She was dying and this is when I was in practice mode. I was just still coming out of just becoming a therapist at that point. So I had sent her some free audio. She couldn't do any sessions with me because she was too sick, so she couldn't sit for 3 hours. But she just listened to the audios. And they said when I started with her, they were telling her that she probably wouldn't make it. And if she did, she was going to be there for, 4 to 5, 6 months. She'll be there for a while because she's got a lot of therapy. Within a month and a half, that woman was home.
Wow.
And all she did is listen to the audios that I had created for her. And then she was home. So she doesn't equate that to me.
She doesn't?
No.
Really?
Yeah, we talked about it. And she's like, oh, no, the doctors just fixed me. I said, so you don't think the audio helped at all? She goes, well, clearly not because it took so long. So she expected that it did happen, but it took a month and a half for it to happen for her. And she was able to go home instead of the 6 months and or dying, So it does help immensely. I saw the growth in her. I hope one day she comes out of her poor me behavior because that's where she's now stuck. So she actually needs a full session to get out of that so she can start seeing the blessings that are coming into her life. So yeah, I think you froze again.
Yeah, I'm in the office, but I guess I might have to try using the internet upstairs as my office instead, because the Wi-Fi is actually upstairs.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, this woman uses.
You froze again.
Oh, there you are. Sorry about that.
That's okay. So, okay. So let's go back to just kind of your goals setting for the week. Let's do that.
Okay.
So let's talk about where you kind of want to be in a week's time from now, as far as your growth potential, where we want to be with the work stuff, and go on from there. I mean, we're going to start having the appointments that are start on Monday.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so they're going to get all their stuff going to you by midweek. You should have appointments, probably by the
Cool.
week, end of the week anyways.
Cool.
But we're going to do some more intense training with them all week long. So that's where
Cool.
you're going to now meet the appointment setters. I also extended the job to the other gentleman, so I'm not sure. I haven't heard back from him yet.
Okay.
So we'll see. And so with that, you'll have those 3 people probably starting with you on Monday.
Cool.
Into training. And so that first training will probably be 2 hours on
Okay.
Monday. Okay.
Yeah.
Because we're all going to meet up, talk, and then just
Oh,
from there.
that's Thanksgiving, isn't it? I mean, it doesn't matter to me, but
Yeah. Oh, shitty. That's right. Okay. We're all, well, there's 3 of us that are Canadian. That might matter. That might matter. We might have to move it to Tuesday.
okay.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see if he wants to start Monday or Tuesday, but
Okay.
yeah. Okay. I don't even celebrate holidays anymore, so I don't know.
Yeah, and
will-
I'm house sitting, so it doesn't matter to me. I'm not.
You'll have to remind me because often, like, I don't look at calendars. I don't look at what dates are coming. So if it's a national holiday for us here, you have to let me know this is a holiday for us. So don't
Okay.
book me. I'm like, oh shit. Okay, thank you. Right.
Yeah.
And I think we are going to run on Canadian holidays, not American holidays.
Right.
So we'll just book off all the Canadian kind of important days, statutory days, and all that stuff.
Cool.
To go. Yeah. Okay. So I want you to continue with your audio, even
Yep.
if you're not going into deep hypnosis. That's fine. It's just about listening to the audio.
Okay.
Make sure you're not driving while you're doing it or anything,
Okay.
or being on a horse because heavy machinery or anything of that nature.
Okay.
Yeah. But you can do it while you're doing the dishes or whatever. You can listen to it. You don't have to go into full hypnosis. We do the countdown for those people who want to go back into full hypnosis, but it's really just about you hearing these words over and over in repetition.
Okay. So I'm really glad that you told me that, because now, I won't force myself to stay still and stay calm to listen to it.
Yeah, no, and don't even worry about that. It's always best if you can listen in a full state of hypnosis where you're laying on your bed at the first 15 minutes, the last 15 minutes of your day, where you are fully in hypnosis, you roll your eyes up. That is always best if you could get yourself there. But if you find you can't do that, just listen. Just
Okay.
listen. It's just like any other meditation audio that they have out there on the market, that they don't have the countdowns, they don't have any of that stuff. So they're not putting you into hypnosis, but they are still in a way hypnotizing you. It's neuro-linguistic programming, right?
Right.
So that's where they're using the repetitive. So you can get. When I first started, I got audios from Jake Ducey. I don't know if you've ever heard of Jake Ducey.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I remember I was so afraid to get his audios to begin with because I thought he had some programming in there that was going to cause me to buy more of his shit.
Right.
So I didn't want to get it. But then I finally did get it and I found it worked. Like just listening to it on repetitive. Now, again, it works as long as you listen to it because you didn't get to the root issue, right?
Right.
So you have to, that's why ours works a bit better than his, or much better than his, in fact, because we go to the root issue. So that's pulled out and then you listen to the audio on repetition, which then changes so that's the game with that. And that's why with Jake Ducey, he does well. Like he's into the 7-digit figures already for his incomes, but multiple sevens actually. But all he offers are free audios for people, free meditation audios, and they work wonders. Wonders. So all you have to do is really just listen to it. Just listen to it.
Cool.
Yeah. And eventually it's going to start changing. So it does take 3 weeks for everything to move, and we're only in week 1.
Yeah.
So we're going to start seeing, but like I said, even now I've already noticed differences in you. But
that's really cool.
That could be just because you're doing your homework, during the week. I don't know. But whenever I give you a homework, it's, you know it by the next time we speak. And I know you already froze, but I'm going to keep talking anyway.
Yeah. So I'm really glad we're testing this out because I did expect this office to work. So next time we meet, I'll try working upstairs.
Yeah, that's not the right spot for you.
No.
That's weird that they have their office away from their router though.
Yeah, the office is like down in the basement in a corner.
Well, I mean, okay, that's the spot, but then put the router in the office.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I'll test upstairs and see.
That leads that they probably don't do a lot of Zoom or something. They're probably just straight internet down there.
Yeah, and she's actually got an office that's off-site, so she probably works there most of the time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. At least we figured it out now.
Yes, thank you. It's a good test.
Yeah. So let's go into, if you don't have any more questions about the hypnosis stuff.
No.
Okay, so let's go into the magic question that we're going to ask people at the end of every sales call. So actually what I
Yes.
just did today is I added 3 new things to this post, which we're going to go to those first.
Okay.
Um, I can't wait to put this in a group, in a coursework. Scroll. I did put pages numbers on here now, so we can actually refer to a page number. So yay.
Cool.
Okay, we're going to talk about the 3 phrases that will help to appear more confident. So when you're talking to somebody online or anywhere really, when you're about to address some of your information, one of the statements that's really quality to say is, in all my years, I have come to learn this one thing. So they
Mm,
realize that this has to be important, whatever you're about to tell them. So they're going to perk up and listen,
cool.
right? So in all my years, I've come to learn this one thing. And then go with that statement. Now make sure it's an important statement when you say that. Don't use it for something silly, right?
Right.
But use that for, if you're trying, if they ask, how do I know if it's going to work for me? Or questions like, what do you know? Do you know if this stuff actually works? That sentence would really perk them up,
Mm,
right? So the next sentence that or phrase that works very well and helps to lower their guard because you come across as super experienced. And that comment is, what I have learned is this. And then you say whatever you've learned. Again, tell me about RTT, tell me this, tell me that. Any kind of questions they bring to you, right? What I've learned is this. Again, that puts you in that authority position, right? So they get to look at you as such. So number third, the third phrase that'll help you appear more confident. That is to start with something that may not be your greatest strength and then end with a statement of authority. Example. So if this conversation was about finances, I don't know a whole lot about that, but we're talking about anxiety, and this is my area of expertise. So here's what I have to say, or here are my thoughts on this matter, right? I mean, of course, if we're talking, you wouldn't say finance and then anxiety, but I'm just giving that as an example, right? So that's how you kind of get them off to believing that, yes, what you're about to say about their particular ailment is important, and you know exactly what it's all about because that's your area of expertise, but you don't know much about something else that they described earlier in the conversation. So bring up something they mentioned that we have nothing to do with, right? And then say, that's, if we were talking about that, I don't know anything, but we're talking about anxiety here. I know everything about this, and here's where I can help you, right?
Yep.
So those are our 3 phrases that help you to appear more.
Cool.
Perfect. Okay. Sorry, just have to scroll back up to the next spot I need to go to here. Okay, so let's look at the best time to book the sales calls. Okay, so for most people, getting favorable responses happens in weird hours. We say that you shouldn't, if you're looking for a yes. So the Black Swan Group, that's Chris Voss. Amazing, and you'll be looking into a lot of his work. He's going to be one of your trainers online. We'll follow every YouTube video we can find of that man. But he talks about how if you want a yes, you can't ask them after noon. noon their time.
Wow.
Because we've already exhausted all our abilities to say yes. So after that, our brain just wants to say no so that we can relax and get through the rest of the stress of the day. So they're saying that if you want a yes, to do it before noon. So most of our sales calls will try to book, but of course that's not going to be a reality. It's not going to be acceptable. But if you're seeing that you are having a hard time closing, the next time you book your sales call, make sure it's before noon their time.
Okay, so that would be important for the setters to know.
I think that's going to be no, because the setters will set any time of day for these calls. They're coming in from 9 to 6 booked for you. But what I'm
Okay.
saying is for the salespeople, when they've they've gotten to the end of the call, now they have to schedule another call because they have to
Oh,
talk to their partner. They have to think
gotcha.
about it. That next call needs to be scheduled before noon. So that
Gotcha.
person is more likely to say yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the best time of workday to make sales calls to prospects is between 4 and 5 p.m. And this is because it's a high connection time. So they're already winding down from work. They're kind of wrapping things up. So they do have that time to talk to you on the phone. It's the last hour of the day. So if you're going to reach out to anybody on the phone lines, just to ask them to set up calls with you, to follow up, to do follow-ups, to do all of that stuff. The best time to do that is between 5 or just around 4 and 5 p.m. The other best time is between 11 and noon. Again, that's the best time to do cold calling, is between 11 and noon. And so you guys won't be doing much cold callings except for that list of 800 or 900 people that I have.
Right.
And we may get more over time, but they won't really be cold, right? But the best time to call them is usually between 11 and noon, again, because that's around the break time. They're starting to wind down. They're ready to take that break. And so they're happy to go on the phone with you and just kind of sit back with their feet up while they talk, right? So that's one of the better times. They're not, because at 10 a.m. or 9 a.m. they're trying to get their emails checked. They're like, it's not a good time. It's just not a good time. So the difference in the numbers of conversions or conversations between 4 and 5 p.m. and the number of conversations between 11 and 12 p.m. Like that will convert is like by 71%. So if you can get them in those hours, you'll get them to start converting by 71% more than any other hour of the day. Now, that being said, we only have one of those hours or two of those hours a day, right? So you can only put so many clients in those hours. But those are for the rougher ones. Those are for the ones that aren't closing. These are for the ones that we're just going to be opening with that, these are the hours that'll give us a better success rate if we can do it. You can book the time to make your first sales calls, to try to book calls with these people starting at 10:30, 11. Then it'll be best for you. You'll get your best results. So the worst time to connect with people is on a Friday, the second half of Friday, actually, because guess why? We already know why, right? Weekend, woo!
They're already in the zone.
Yeah, their brain's not with you. They're just gonna, yeah, we'll talk money. I'll think about it later. Send me an email. I'll look it over. Like, you're gonna get those kind of replies because they want to avoid you. You are not their priority in that moment, right? So avoid calls that anytime after lunch on a Friday. We'll try not to book any sales calls anytime after lunch on a Friday, except for those who insist upon it. Because some people just want Fridays and Saturdays. So if that's what they want, that's what they'll book for them. But it's their choice to book those hours. It's not you saying, hey, how about Friday afternoon? Never suggest a Friday afternoon unless they ask for it. Right?
Makes sense. Yeah.
So again, the key takeaways here are to stay clear of making calls on Mondays. By the way, I forgot to say that part. Don't do Mondays. Yeah, because Mondays are people who don't really, like, they're trying to get into their work week. They're not in the mode. They're just coming back for Sunday. They have that brain fog. They're not totally into you. So if you're doing a cold call towards them or anything like that, Monday is not your day to do that. Now, that being said, if a client wants to schedule a call with you from the appointment center on a Monday, that's the client's choice. They've chosen the Monday. But we ask you not to suggest Mondays to them, because Monday and Fridays are just not very good days for most people to
Okay.
be into our brainwaves, the brainwaves we want them in. The best day of the week to make your calls is a Wednesday.
Mm,
The best day, because Wednesday, that's hump day. We're all happy. We're halfway through the week. We're halfway over. We're at our peak of happiness usually on that day, right? Because we're at the full energy. That's where you're peaking, and then it starts to dwindle right after that, right?
mm,
So Wednesdays is the best day to make those calls. These calls can translate into actual conversations usually on that day. So those are the days you want to start going in more, a bit more cold. We'll be telling our appointment setters that as well. That you know Wednesdays is a really, really good day to make sure you go in when you're doing follow ups on people to start getting them to talk to you on a Wednesday. It's your best day. Do not do the follow ups on Mondays or Fridays because you'll probably fail on those days.
okay.
So again, just to recap on this stuff here. Um, so no calls on Mondays. We reserve our cold calling to be the strongest times are between 11 a.m. and noon for most business people. That's a business world. If it's just an everyday person, it's not exactly the same. But if they have a job, yeah, 11 and noon seems to be the best hour. And 4 and 5 p.m. as well is the best hour to have chats with people because they're ready to close down for the day and they're ready to listen to you. And again, to avoid Fridays because it's Friday the weekend and
Mhm.
they do not care to talk to you.
Right.
So that is all about the best time to booking your sales calls.
Cool.
So let's go into next time we chat. So tomorrow, what day is it today? Friday. Oh, we're not talking tomorrow. So what we'll do on Monday or Tuesday, whichever day we're coming back on, we'll
Okay.
do sales probing questions.
Cool.
Okay, that's what we're going to come back and really, really get into. So you're welcome to look over them. They're already on the list. I'll be sending everybody out this new form when I get it finished today.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go over those in detail on that because I think that's good that we have them at the back of our head, like
Yeah.
so that we're not reusing the same ones over and over and over again, right?
Makes sense. Yeah.
Perfect. Do you have any
Cool.
questions?
Um, no, I don't think so. By the sounds of it, I need to work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
Well, I mean, you're going to be taking calls Tuesday through Saturday, right?
Yep.
But your best days are going to be, yeah. So we'll try to do the bulk of our scheduling on those better days,
Right.
and then whatever falls through on the others, that's where it's going to get set in. But
Cool.
yeah, the better we'll go, especially for the hard ones that we're having a harder time closing. We'll know when to schedule those people in, especially in that sort of thing, because this is not true and fast for everyone, but it is the average of, right? So we'll try to make sure that the appointment setters know that if this person's already very questioning everything and not sure about anything, then do not do Friday or Monday, and do not,
Right.
and probably book during certain hours for those certain people, just so that we make sure they've got that down.
Cool.
So, because I want the best success for everybody, so we'll make sure that we are all succeeding, and hopefully by next month we're all making like amazing ROIs, and your time will be well spent.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah, me too. I'm very excited to get this going.
Mm.
So, what I'm going to do is set you up on my Facebook business page
Okay.
this weekend, so
Hmm.
that by Monday you could start cold calling those people on Monday.
Okay.
Okay, I'll get you all out, and I'll explain to you exactly how to do it. I'll probably either make you a little video so that you have a private link because we won't be able to do it. Well, actually, we'll be able to do it in the call because no, the appointment setters will be in that call, so we won't be able to. So I'll probably make you a little video that'll explain how to use that section and how I want you to use it, and that sort of thing. Sorry, dog's barking. Um, yeah, so that should be easy enough. We'll get you started on that. So even you might be able to bring in your own calls before the end of the week, right? So we don't have to rely totally on those appointment setters to
Right.
get you going. Because again, I don't know how green they are. I know they have 3 years experience already as appointment setters, but as far as appointment setters for therapy is a whole nother ballgame. So we'll see how they do with that one.
Cool.
We'll see how they do. So, okay. If we don't have any more questions, we're just going to end the call early today.
Okay.
And we'll get going on Monday with everything.
Okay.
And besides that, I think that's everything. If you can think of anything that we need to address with any of this stuff that maybe I'm missing that you're not seeing in that sales form that I said,
Okay.
that booklet that I sent, if you see anything that's missing, just let me know so that I can add it there that you guys need to learn about, that sort of stuff. And we'll make sure that everything's there. If you feel at any time that you need extra training in anything, tell me. If I don't know it, I will find the answers for you or the right person to train you.
Okay.
Right? So the goal is that we succeed, and that means we all have to work together. So please do not afraid to open your mouth and voice everything out to me, because I will listen. I am in listening mode. So
That's awesome. Love it.
Yeah, and I very much appreciate you and all your help. And we'll see you on, I'm thinking Monday morning, but if that's okay.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay, Monday morning, just so that we can get a start on that week.
Yeah.
And again, it'll just be 2 hours of your day, and then you can have the rest of the day to yourself to go and play with horses. Do you get to ride these horses? Like, what's the scoop there? Because like that's been on
No.
my mind since you mentioned horse. I'm not even.
Oh, really?
Yes.
No, so it's not, they haven't ridden it in a long time. It's a 35-year-old horse.
Oh.
Oh, it's really beautiful though. I'll send you a picture of it. It's got
Yeah,
the
do.
most beautiful colors.
Oh, I love horse. I love horseback riding. I love horses. Every time I get a chance, I go.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, I love it.
Yeah, this morning I had its food and its dish was like way too far away for me to dump it. So I was holding its food trying to figure out what to do, and it just started eating out of the container. I'm like, okay, apparently I'm feeding you by hand today.
That's
Yeah.
nice. You can have a whole conversation with the horse while it's eating, though. It'll listen to you,
Yeah, absolutely.
right? Practice your sales on the horse.
Yeah. Cool.
I used to do that. I used to practice on my dog, actually. Yeah, well, I mean, it sounds silly, but I needed someone to talk to, and the dog's looking at me, so I'm like, all right, you're the one. I'm talking to
Yeah.
you.
I won't talk back. It's a good idea.
Right? Yeah, they don't come back. So I did have a cat that did come back, though. So we would have a conversation. I would finish talking, and then the cat would respond. So the cat would have been perfect for this scenario, where I could have just put the cat in that role and just pretended like, that's a great question. You're right.
Cute.
Anyway, I'm just such a pet person. Okay,
Cool.
we'll talk again next week. If I change Monday, I'll let you know by message to Tuesday or whatever. But
Okay.
tentative Monday, 9 a.m. Okay.
Cool. Thank you.
All right. We'll talk soon.